It was the largest shark to ever roam the seas, the mighty Megalodon. With an estimated body length of up to 20.3 meters, the prehistoric predator must have terrified all other ocean dwellers. Today, however, there is no trace of the floating colossus. The fossils discovered so far show that the Megalodon disappeared from the world's oceans around 2.6 million years ago. Nevertheless, contrary to popular belief, reports and videos keep appearing on the internet that want to prove that the primeval giant is still with us today. The 10 unique shots that we are going to examine with you today are also intended to show the largest shark in the history of the Earth. But are these clips and stories actually authentic Megalodon sightings? Or were the observers utterly mistaken? Let's take a look together. The Black Demon. Fictitious sailor's yarn or a true story? To this day, nobody knows what the background to the so-called Black Demon is really all about. According to the old myth, it is said to be an unimaginably large, dark shark that has been roaming the waters off the coast of Mexico for centuries. Specifically, it was said to inhabit the waters of the Gulf of California, also known as the Sea of Cortez, between the Baja Peninsula and the state of Sonora. In the past, it was not uncommon to hear voices of frightened fishermen who claimed to have seen El Demonio Negro with their own eyes. These accounts convey a terrifying predator with skin as black as midnight and piercing eyes. What's more, the shark is said to have overthrown boats, attacked whales, and even devour an entire group of sea lions in a single vicious bite. Depending on the report, the predator is said to have a body length of between 15 and 18 meters, which would fit perfectly into the Megalodon size scheme. Those who are not convinced of the truth of the stories think that the supposed eyewitnesses were simply mistaken. In truth, they would not have sighted a black Megalodon, but a whale shark. With a body length of up to 18 meters, it is indeed the largest shark of today, but by no means a bloodthirsty killer, because whale sharks feed almost exclusively on plankton and krill. However, this explanation is still accompanied by a big question mark. The Black Demon is said to have an extremely aggressive nature, whereas whale sharks are known for their peaceful character. In 2009, a film crew decided to explore the Sea of Cortez themselves to investigate the legend of the Black Demon. They were guided by American sport fisherman Eric Mack, who claimed to have encountered this ominous creature while sailing off the coast of Baja in July of 2008. Unfortunately, the crew never found physical proof of the monster shark's existence, though believers see the washed-up remains of half-eaten whale carcasses as evidence that this apex predator still roams the waters. Sighting in Canada. In 2016, a Canadian user posted a video on YouTube that immediately made waves. According to the user, the recordings were made in 2014 and show a living Megalodon. The fact that we see a huge predatory marine animal on the video cannot be denied. However, since the sea creature does not surface, it is extremely difficult to determine the exact species. Some users, who believe the filmmaker mistook the animal in the water for a Megalodon, suspect that he actually encountered a basking shark. These ocean dwellers, which can be up to 10 meters long and weigh 4 tons, undoubtedly cut an impressive figure, but they feed on plankton, just like the whale shark. Google Earth recording. When we think about booking a vacation in a faraway country, we often take a look at our destination of choice beforehand. Anyone who thought about flying to the Bahamas some time ago and previously examined the holiday paradise with Google Earth should have thought carefully about their planned trip again, because the pictures actually show a gigantic sea creature that is not far from the most popular tourist island, Cat Island, in the Bahamas. Of course, it was also assumed in this case that it could be an adult Megalodon. While tourists may have been terrified for a moment, investigators later proved the image was fake. Someone had doctored the image before posting it on the internet. Want to check it out for yourself? Look up New Bight Airport on Google Maps from 2007. There's nothing there besides clear blue water. The giant in the Mariana Trench. A few years ago, Japanese researchers conducted an exciting experiment. They placed bait near the Mariana Trench and waited to see which sea creature would be attracted first by the smell of the meal. The Mariana Trench is certainly an interesting place to hunt for the Megalodon. Challenger Deep, the trench's deepest point, stretches 10,984 meters, or 36,037 feet, down. Let's put that in perspective. You could submerge Mount Everest into those depths and still have 2 kilometers, or 1.3 miles, to spare. There is clearly ample space for the ancient shark predator to hide. So what happened when the researchers put the bait over the trench? It wasn't long before a small group of deep-sea sharks appeared near the bait. But then something happened that the researchers really did not expect. Shockingly, the swimming predators all fled, and it soon became clear what had caused the sharks to panic so much. Because suddenly, a much larger shark appeared on the scene and devoured the bloody bait to its heart's content. According to some eyewitness reports, the animal is said to have had a body length of an incredible 16 meters. Scientists are still puzzled over what kind of predatory fish it was. Still, when considering whether or not a megalodon could survive in the Mariana Trench, you have to keep several factors in mind. First is the temperature. Water temperature in the trench hovers around 2 degrees Celsius or 35.6 degrees Fahrenheit all year round, which is significantly colder than typical ocean temperatures the megalodon would have experienced while roaming the world's oceans in prehistoric times. Still, adaptation isn't out of the question. But another factor to consider is water pressure. At its most intense, the water pressure in the Mariana Trench is 1,000 times stronger than at sea level. Could the megalodon adapt to endure this pressure over time? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Indirect evidence? It's 2019 when a team of researchers from California places a baited submarine on the remote sea floor. When the experts finally saw which creature was approaching the prey, they were amazed. It was a so-called blunt-nose, 6-gill shark. There were 2 facts that astounded the marine researchers: the size of the swimming predator and the depth to which it had gone. The previous thesis that such impressive specimens are not found at great depths could thus be refuted. For some people, this discovery led to a groundbreaking reassessment of what was possible for surviving megalodons. Contrary to past theories, the mighty megalodon might have succeeded in surviving in the isolated deep-sea world. Perhaps the Mariana Trench is looking like a more promising hiding place for this creature after all. Satellite recordings. In 2014, several nations received extremely mysterious images from their space satellites. In detail, the artificial spacecraft had tracked down gigantic beings off the coast of Papua New Guinea. The way the captured objects moved left no doubt that they were, in fact, living sea creatures. The bodies of the animals had classic shark shapes, but they were significantly larger than all known shark species of the present. To put this in perspective, an adult great white shark can grow up to 6.4 meters long. Again, the creatures captured by the satellites were around 16 meters long, almost 3 times the size of the largest sharks known today. Random observation. As a robot on the seabed was busy installing some components for an oil platform, it caught something very strange on its camera. If we pay attention to the background, we can see an exceedingly large creature gliding by. Based on the size of the robot and the distance the animal swam past, some observers concluded that it must have been a shark at least 10 meters long. However, the creature did not approach the robot. Metal must not smell very tantalizing, so the footage is nothing more than a passing glimpse of a giant beast in the distance. Did the robot actually capture a megalodon on film? What do you think? Write it down in the comments. Megalodon in Brazil. Okay, admittedly, the recording we are showing you now is not necessarily the strongest evidence to prove the existence of the megalodon. Nevertheless, some users recognized a striking detail in the video, which they believe could represent a gigantic sea creature from prehistoric times. The recording was made by the onboard camera of a Brazilian rescue helicopter. While a first look at the footage doesn't reveal a sensational discovery, a closer look shows that the camera did indeed capture a strange entity. If we look at the upper right edge of the image, we can see a huge dark silhouette in the water. The length of the mysterious structure is estimated to be at least 18 meters. Is this just an ordinary shadow cast, or actually the body of a gigantic beast? What do you think? COMORIAN coelacanth. Why are we talking about the COMORIAN coelacanth, a kind of fish that inhabits the Indian Ocean, in a post about the megalodon? Well, that's because these 2-meter-long animals are living proof that experts can be wildly wrong, and living is the key word here. Before the first specimen of these species was discovered in 1938, coelacanths had been thought to be extinct for over 70 million years. That's right, 70 million years. That's quite a long time. Scientists now consider coelacanth to be a living fossil because it's seemingly the sole surviving member of a taxon, otherwise known only from fossils, with no other close relations alive. Indeed, the coelacanth is believed to have evolved into its current form approximately 400 million years ago, meaning it would have cohabited the waters with Megalodon. Because of this intriguing case, some people believe that megalodons might still be slumbering in the depths of the ocean too, even though it scientifically disappeared from the scene around 2.6 million years ago. If this were true, the swimming giant has so far successfully managed to hide itself from the research view of mankind, just like the coelacanth managed to do for millennia. Mysterious incident. To learn more about the habits of great white sharks, some marine biologists from Australia tagged several of these massive predators with tracking devices. A female, which the researchers called Alpha, was one of the creatures marked in this way. With a name like Alpha, we can only imagine how big and ferocious this particular specimen was. But shockingly, a few months later, the chip was washed ashore, and there was no trace of Alpha. The evaluation of the tracking device revealed that the great white shark had fallen victim to an extremely mysterious event. The animal was suddenly thrown down 600 meters at an insane speed. In the same breath, the shark's body temperature rose sharply to 25 degrees Celsius, which typically corresponds to the temperature that prevails in the digestive tract of a predatory fish. So, the data suggests that Alpha was grabbed by an even larger predator, dragged down, and then eaten. To this day, no one knows which creature attacked the great white shark back then. As you can already guess, some people think it's possible that it was a megalodon that hunted and killed Alpha. What else could it possibly be? We'd love to know your hypothesis in the comments. Alright folks, now it's your turn. What do you think of the recordings and reports we just presented to you? Are these actual megalodon sightings? Or can the corresponding cases be explained differently? Authentic observations or not, do you think the gigantic sharks of prehistoric times could have survived to this day? Let us know what you think about today's video in the comments below. If you enjoyed our post on the controversial megalodon sightings, please give us a thumbs up. Also, don't forget to subscribe to Top Welt and click the bell to stay up to date from now on. Thanks for your interest. Have a good one, and we'll see you next time.